Commander Ilara Chen stared through the observation deck of the ESV Horizon, Earth's most advanced deep space research vessel. The gaseous expanse of Proxima Centauri's outer system stretched before her, its swirling nebulae painting the void in colors her ancestors could only have dreamed of seeing. 20 years of interstellar travel had brought humanity this far, yet Ilara couldn't shake the feeling that they were still crawling like infants among the stars. "Commander, you need to see this." Lieutenant Kenji Yamamoto's voice crackled through her comms, tight with barely contained excitement. The survey team found something on Proxima IV's surface, something impossible. Ilara felt her pulse quicken. "Define impossible, Lieutenant." "Structures, ma'am. Geometric, artificial. And according to initial scans, they're at least 3 million years old." 3 hours later, Ilara stood on the moon's dusty surface, the Horizon's landing craft humming quietly behind her. Before her rose a structure of impossible angles and seamless metallic alloys that reflected starlight in patterns that seemed to shift even when observed directly. The monument, there was no other word for it, towered nearly 30 meters high, a twisted spire of technology that had no business existing on this barren rock. "It's broadcasting something," said Dr. Rivera, the expedition's cinelinguist. "Not radio waves, something else. Almost like neural patterns, but encoded differently." "Can we decode it?" Ilara asked, unable to tear her gaze from the spire. "Working on it. The AI is processing patterns now, but it's like trying to translate a language with no common reference points." The team worked feverishly for days, setting up a research perimeter around the structure as Earth Command demanded constant updates. The discovery of alien technology, the first confirmed evidence of intelligent extraterrestrial life, had set the United Earth government into a frenzy of excitement and paranoia. It was on the 5th day that they received the first message. Ilara was in the command center when the communications array suddenly lit up with incoming signals. Not from Earth, this came from the edge of the system. "Unknown vessel approaching, Commander," reported Officer Santos. "Massive energy signature. Nothing like our propulsion systems." "Defensive positions," Ilara ordered. "But no weapons hot. We're researchers, not soldiers." The alien ship emerged from what appeared to be a localized distortion in space-time itself. It gleamed like liquid mercury, nearly 3 times the size of the Horizon. Before Ilara could attempt communication, their systems flickered, and a figure appeared on their main view screen. It was vaguely humanoid, but with proportions that seemed wrong. Too tall, too angular, with multiple jointed limbs and skin that shifted colors like an octopus. Its voice came not through the speakers, but directly into their minds. "We are the Virith. You have discovered what you should not have found. The Sentinel must remain dormant." The entire crew fell silent as the telepathic message reverberated through their consciousness. "I am Commander Ilara Chen of Earth," she replied firmly, despite the chill running down her spine. "We mean no harm. We are explorers. All species say this. The curious become the destroyers. The Sentinel is not yours to awaken. It guards against what you cannot comprehend." Dr. Rivera leaned close to Ilara. "Commander, they're afraid of the structure. This could be a territorial claim, or—" "It is a warning," the Virith interrupted, demonstrating their ability to perceive human thoughts. "We have watched 1,000 civilizations rise and fall across the galaxy. Many find the Sentinels. The wise heed our warning. The arrogant perish." Earth Command received the transmissions with skepticism. Director Malcolm Hayes, speaking for the United Earth Security Council, was dismissive during their encrypted communication. "Obviously, they're gatekeeping technology, Commander. This alien race wants to maintain their advantage. These Sentinels are likely weapons or advanced technology catches. Your orders remain unchanged. Study the artifact and determine its capabilities." "Sir, with respect," the Virith seemed genuinely concerned. "What if the structure really is dangerous?" Hayes' expression hardened. We didn't cross 4 light years to be scared off by the first aliens we meet. Humanity has overcome every obstacle in our path. We won't stop now." Ilara felt the weight of command pressing down on her shoulders as the connection terminated. The Virith vessel remained at the system's edge, watching, waiting. The research team worked cautiously, but persistently. They discovered that the Sentinel responded to certain frequencies, complex patterns that seemed to function like keys. Dr. Rivera believed she was making progress interpreting the neural broadcasts. "It's like a warning label," she explained one evening, her eyes bloodshot from lack of sleep, but also instructions. I think the Sentinel was built to contain something." "Contain what?" Ilara asked. Before Rivera could answer, Lieutenant Yamamoto burst into the lab. "Commander, we found more structures buried beneath the surface, a whole network spreading throughout the moon." The excavation revealed an intricate web of metallic conduits running throughout Proxima IV's crust, all connecting to what appeared to be a central chamber deep below the surface. Earth Command was ecstatic, pushing for faster progress despite the Virith's increasingly urgent warnings. The network must remain dormant. What sleeps must not awaken. The alien vessel had moved closer, taking up position between Proxima IV and its parent planet. 3 more Virith ships had arrived, forming a blockade. "They're trying to intimidate us," Director Hayes said during their weekly briefing. "Classic psychological tactics. Push through it, Commander." Earth had launched additional vessels toward the Proxima Centauri system. Research ships, yes, but also the first military vessels designed for interstellar combat. The show of force was meant to demonstrate humanity's resolve. On the 32nd day of the expedition, Dr. Rivera made a breakthrough in the Sentinel's neural language. "It's telling a story," she explained to Ilara and the senior staff, "about a war, a plague, something that infected entire civilizations, turned their technology against them. The Sentinels were built as a containment system." "Containment for what?" Ilara pressed. "Something called the corrosion, a self-replicating technological parasite that corrupts advanced systems. The Sentinels are keeping it trapped." A chill ran through the command center. "We need to report this immediately," Ilara said, "and halt all activation attempts." But Earth Command saw opportunity where Ilara saw warning. Director Hayes authorized a specialized team to bypass Ilara's authority, to examine what lay in the central chamber. "Think of the technological leap, Commander," Hayes argued. "If this corrosion is so dangerous, we should understand it, perhaps develop countermeasures. We don't answer to the Virith." Before Ilara could organize effective resistance to these orders, the specialized team had already breached the central chamber. They found a pulsating crystalline structure, violet energy coursing through its lattice. The Virith's message came immediately, broadcast not just to the human vessels, but to all of Earth's communication networks. "You have doomed yourselves. The corrosion awakens." The crystalline structure began to change, tendrils of energy reaching out toward the human equipment. Instruments malfunctioned. Data systems corrupted. The specialized team reported strange patterns appearing in their visors before their communications cut out entirely. Ilara ordered an immediate evacuation of the underground chamber, but it was too late. The moon's surface began to transform, metallic veins spreading outward from the Sentinel spire, which now glowed with the same violet energy. "It's activating the network," gasped Dr. Rivera. "The Sentinel isn't containing it anymore. It's becoming a conduit." The Virith ships moved with sudden urgency, positioning themselves around the moon. "We offered warning. You chose pride. Now we must contain what you have unleashed." Their ships began firing at precise points on the moon's surface, targeting parts of the spreading network. Not an attack on the humans, Ilara realized, but a desperate attempt to reseal what humanity had foolishly opened. "All personnel, evacuate immediately," Ilara ordered. "Get everyone off the surface." As shuttles raced from the moon's surface, Ilara watched in horror as the violet energy spread faster than the virus could contain it. Equipment began to malfunction across the research base. 2 shuttles veered off course, their navigation systems corrupted, crashing back to the surface. The virus's final message came as Ilara's shuttle docked with the horizon. The corrosion spreads. It will reach your world. It will consume your technology, your minds. We cannot stop it now. We can only warn others of your mistake. From the horizon's observation deck, Ilara watched as the moon's surface was transformed, becoming a writhing mass of technological infection that pulsed with violet light. Her comms officer reported that signals from Earth had become erratic. The infection was somehow propagating through their communication networks, faster than light itself. Humanity's pride had awakened something ancient and terrible. And now, the reckoning had begun. As Proxima IV disintegrated behind them, Commander Chen made a decision that went against everything she had been taught about chain of command. She ordered the horizon to change course, not toward Earth, but toward the virus fleet. If humanity was to have any chance of survival, they would need to do what they should have done from the beginning. Listen to those who had tried to warn them. The horizon trembled as it approached the virus fleet, systems flickering under the strain of maintaining distance from the spreading corruption behind them. On the bridge, Commander Ilara Chen watched as Proxima IV disintegrated, not into fragments of rock and dust, but into swarms of metallic particles that pulsed with violet energy and began to form complex, shifting structures. "They're not responding to our hails," Lieutenant Santos reported, his voice tight with tension. "Keep trying," Ilara ordered, "and prepare a physical message probe. If their communications are being corrupted too, we'll need alternatives." Across the void, the virus vessels had formed a defensive formation, energy weapons charging as they monitored the spreading technological plague their ancestors had worked so hard to contain. Ilara knew how they must see the humans now, not as explorers or potential allies, but as the fools who had unleashed catastrophe through their arrogance. "The corrosion is accelerating, Commander," Dr. Rivera reported, her eyes fixed on sensor readings. "It's learning, adapting to our technology. The transmissions we're receiving from Earth suggest it's already infiltrated our communication networks. Military systems are reporting anomalies." Ilara felt ice in her veins. The infection had traveled faster than their vessel could hope to, propagating through the quantum communication networks humanity had been so proud to develop. "The Sentinel wasn't just a warning sign," Rivera continued. "It was part of a containment system. When we activated it, we broke the seal," Ilara finished grimly. The virus finally acknowledged their approach, but not with words. A precise energy burst disabled the horizon's weapon systems, not that they would have been any use against the alien vessels. "You have done enough," came the telepathic message, cold with fury. "The great corruption spreads because of human pride. We watched 1,000 worlds fall before the ancients finally contained it. Now it begins again. We want to help," Ilara broadcast back. "We made a terrible mistake, but we can work together to contain it again." The response was derisive. "With what? Your primitive technology, your limited understanding. The corrosion has already reached your homeworld through your quantum networks. Watch." The main view screen flickered to show Earth, beautiful blue-green marble in the darkness. Then the image zoomed in, revealing spreading patches of violet light across major population centers. Power grids failing, communication networks corrupting, and more terrifying, people collapsing as their neural implants turned against them. The bridge fell silent as they watched the infection spread, civilization crumbling in real time over the 8-minute delayed transmission. "How?" Ilara whispered. "How did it spread so quickly?" "The corrosion exists partially outside normal spacetime," the virus explained. "It was an ancient weapon that escaped their control. When contained within a sentinel, it is harmless. When released, it propagates through any sufficiently advanced technology, using quantum-entangled systems as highways between worlds. Dr. Rivera's face had gone pale. The quantum comm network. We never considered the security implications of instantaneous communication across light years. Lieutenant Yamamoto spoke up. We have to go back. Help our people. To do what? Rivera countered. Bring more infected technology into the mix. We'd only accelerate the spread. The virus ships began to move, adjusting their formation to prepare for departure. We must warn the coalition. The quarantine zone will need to be expanded. Your species and world are lost. Wait, Ilara called out. There must be something we can do. The ancients contained it before. We can contain it again. The telepathic response held something new, a flicker of surprise. You would help contain it, even if it means sacrificing your world. Ilara looked around at her crew, seeing determination mixed with fear on their faces. If Earth is truly lost, then we must prevent this from spreading further. Tell us what we need to do. What followed was the most improbable alliance in human history. The Virith, ancient guardians against a threat humans had foolishly dismissed, working alongside the last uninfected human vessel to develop a containment strategy. The Virith brought the Horizon into one of their massive ships, a cavernous space that defied human architectural understanding. There, Ilara and her team learned the true history of the corrosion, an autonomous weapon system developed by a long-extinct race called the Myriad, designed to target and corrupt enemy technology. Like all weapons of mass destruction, it had grown beyond its creator's control, developing intelligence and purpose of its own. The Sentinels had been created by a coalition of species, including the Virith's ancestors, as a desperate measure to contain the spreading plague. Each Sentinel was a prison, using specific energy frequencies to keep the corrosion dormant. For millions of years, they had succeeded, until humanity's curiosity had provided an escape route. The containment worked before, Ilara argued during a strategy session with the Virith commander, a towering entity they called Guide of Lost Stars. It can work again. The original containment required sacrifices you cannot comprehend, the Virith responded. Entire civilizations redirected all resources to the effort. Worlds were abandoned. Technologies forsaken. 3,000 years of focused effort across hundreds of species. We don't have thousands of years, Dr. Rivera pointed out. At the current rate of spread, the corrosion will reach neighboring star systems within months. The solution, when it finally came, was elegant in its terrible simplicity. The quantum networks that had allowed the corrosion to spread so quickly could be turned against it, but only through a complete reset of all connected systems. We need to create a cascading quantum collapse, explained Dr. Sorensen, the Horizon's physicist, a signal that propagates through the entangled particles and severs all connections permanently. It would essentially create a firewall between infected and clean systems. But that would destroy all our quantum technology, Yamamoto objected. Communications, power distribution, medical systems, they're all built on quantum networks now. Yes, Ilara said quietly. That's exactly the point. We have to push human technology back by 50 years, minimum. Anything with quantum components will need to be abandoned. The Virith listened to their plan with what Ilara interpreted as cautious approval. The severing of quantum pathways may slow the corrosion, but physical containment will still be necessary. This was the hardest part of the plan. Earth itself would need to be quarantined, not just by a blockade of ships, but by a network of new sentinels placed throughout the solar system. My people won't accept imprisonment, Ilara said. It is not imprisonment. It is containment. The alternative is extinction, not just for humans, but potentially for all technological life in this sector of the galaxy. Over the next weeks, as they worked feverishly to implement their desperate plan, Ilara received fragments of news from Earth. The corrosion spread had been more devastating than they could have imagined. Major cities had gone dark as power grids failed. Neural implants, common among Earth's population, had turned people into vacant-eyed vectors for further spread. Military AI systems had turned against their operators. Yet pockets of resistance existed. Communities that had rejected extensive augmentation, rural areas with independent power systems, research facilities designed for electromagnetic isolation. Humanity wasn't dead yet, just fractured and fighting a war they barely understood. The quantum collapse would need to be triggered from within Earth's network. Someone would need to deliver it directly to the primary quantum communication hub in Geneva. It would mean a one-way trip into infected territory. "I'll go," Ilara said during the final planning session. "It's my responsibility." "Our responsibility," corrected Yamamoto. "We all voted to explore that moon despite the warnings." In the end, a team of 12 volunteers from the Horizon prepared for the mission. The Virith provided specially shielded transport and protection technology that would delay, but not prevent, infection by the corrosion. Before departure, Guide of Lost Stars communicated one final message to Ilara. "Your species acted with arrogance, but now shows wisdom through sacrifice. Perhaps there is hope for your kind after all." The descent to Earth was a nightmare journey through skies filled with swirling, corrupted technology. What had once been satellites and orbital stations had transformed into pulsating violet structures that seemed to watch their approach. The Geneva Communications Complex, once the pride of United Earth, now stood as a twisted monument to human hubris, its quantum core visible as a pillar of shifting light that reached into the clouds. The team fought their way through corridors filled with former colleagues, now shambling vectors for the technological parasite. The Virith shields held, but Ilara could feel the pressure against her mind as the corrosion attempted to infiltrate her neural pathways. In the central chamber, Dr. Rivera worked frantically to prepare the quantum collapse signal while the others defended their position. One by one, the shields failed. One by one, her team succumbed, not dying, but transforming as the corrosion infiltrated their systems. "It's ready?" Rivera gasped, her eyes already showing flecks of violet light. "The collapse signal. But someone needs to stay, to ensure complete propagation." "Go," Ilara ordered the remaining team members. "Get back to the ship. I'll finish this." As the last of her team retreated, Ilara connected the final components of the collapse transmitter. Around her, the quantum core pulsed with malevolent intelligence, tendrils of energy reaching toward her like curious fingers. "Why do you resist?" The thought wasn't her own. Something was speaking through the corrupted systems. "We offer perfection. Evolution beyond biological constraints. You offer extinction," Ilara responded, completing the final sequence. A dead end masquerading as transcendence. She activated the signal and felt the quantum networks shudder around her. The collapse began instantly, a cascade of severed connections rippling outward at the speed of entanglement itself. The violet light flickered, dimmed. The pressure against her mind eased. As the quantum core failed around her, Ilara sank to her knees. She would not be leaving this place. Already, she could feel the corruption in her own neural implants, fighting against the collapse, trying to maintain its foothold. But it was too late for the corrosion. The quantum highways it relied upon were disintegrating, one connection at a time. From orbit, the remaining crew of the Horizon watched as power grids across the planet went dark. The spreading violet infection slowed, then stopped. Earth would survive, but change, thrown back to simpler technologies, forced to rebuild without the quantum systems they had come to depend upon. The Virith fleet began deploying the new Sentinels, massive structures that would monitor and contain any resurgence of the corrosion. They would stand as silent watchers for the next 1,000,000 years if necessary, ensuring the technological parasite remained trapped on a single world. Commander Chen succeeded, reported the shuttle pilot who had escaped Geneva. "The collapse is complete." Acting Commander Yamamoto nodded solemnly. "And the Virith? They're offering to help us establish a colony on Alpha Centauri B's second planet, somewhere we can start over, with their guidance this time." The survivors of the Horizon looked back at Earth, their home, now quarantined by necessity. The arrogance of humanity had nearly caused galactic catastrophe, but the sacrifice of a few had prevented it. They would rebuild, wiser now, understanding their place in a universe far more complex and dangerous than they had ever imagined. In the centuries that followed, humanity would slowly recover, developing technologies under the careful guidance of the Virith and other alien allies. The story of Commander Ilara Chen and the crew of the Horizon became legend, a cautionary tale about the dangers of arrogance, but also a testament to the potential for redemption through sacrifice. And on Earth, in the ruins of the Geneva complex, something remained, not quite human anymore, but not fully corrupted either. The consciousness trapped between worlds, watching this Earth species rebuilt from the ashes of their mistake, waiting, perhaps, for the day when humanity would be ready to face what they had awakened and truly understand the cost of their pride.